You got to let that play just a little bit. Michael Jackson wants us to keep it in the closet. But tonight's show, we will do no such thing. Ladies and gentlemen, Voice of Reason, Thursday nights, Sirius XM Satellite Radio, and of course you're in the Foxhole, channel 106 and 149. I'm ZoWilliams, the Voice of Reason, back for another Thursday, and right to the point. Tonight's topic is a heater, and I suggest that you get to your phones right now. Do not waste a single second. Get there now. The topic for tonight, Cooties Need Love Too, exposing the STD dating underground. What? Cooties need love too. People with incurable STDs need love too. There are internet and online communities and websites and dating sites. It's a crazy topic if you want to get involved. As a matter of fact, if there's somebody out there who's a part of one of these communities, hdate.com. What does the H stand for? I think it stands for herpes. herpedate.com. Cooties Need Love Too, exposing the STD dating underground. ZoWilliams is the Voice of Reason, Foxxhole Radio, Sirius XM Satellite Radio, channel 106 and 149. The number to dial to get involved on that conversation is 877-210-610. Also, I'm online right now. If you're near Facebook, my instant messenger is on. If you want to chime in and ask me a question or hit me up or say something, I could take it right now. I'm looking at it right now. So let me just go ahead and clear all of this up. The Voice of Reason. This is your personal relationship help desk. Welcome to the death of relationship dumbassification. And of course, all of these topics, what you guys don't understand, tonight's topic is coming from our Makeup to Breakup segment. So continue to email me. ZO@Sirius-Radio.com. That's ZO@Sirius-Radio.com. These are the type of topics that are coming in, so don't be afraid to reach out to us and talk about this makeup to breakup stuff. It's very important. If you're having any issues with any type of relationship, whether it be work, friends, family, or personal, and you want to know if you should end it or mend it, just reach out. Email me, ZO@Sirius-Radio.com. Again, tonight's topic, Cooties Need Love Too, exposing the STD dating underground. Whew. Now, let me move on to this really quickly. If you haven't gotten my book, it's really important that you do so. Brother need to eat. I need to live. Go to my MySpace page. It's Voice of Reason 106. That's www.com, MySpace.com/Voice of Reason 106. www.myspace.com/Voice of Reason 106. And order my book, The Rebirth of Siege, which is on sale right now. Also, please don't forget to go out and get Jamie Foxx's new album. The album is hot, Intuition. And remember to go see Jamie's new film, The Soloist, on the 24th. It's going to be incredible. It's Oscar worthy, I'm trying to tell you. The Soloist. Cooties Need Love Too, exposing the STD underground. One other thing I want to say is Facebook, MySpace, Twitter. Find me on these things, man, because these conversations that we initiate here are just broaching. They're just scratching the topic, or the surface of it. We're just there's much more to the iceberg than you see underneath the water. Please join these sites. I'm ZoWilliams on Twitter. I'm ZoWilliams on Facebook. I'm Voice of Reason 106 at MySpace. Please join and continue the conversation with me, okay? Now, also, I want to tell you guys this too. Relationship Roundtable Part 2 is coming May 3rd. May 3rd, I'm going to be in Hollywood at the Green Door from 7 p.m. to 9:30 p.m., and then we'll have an after party. Trust me, the Green Door is at 1429 Ivar Avenue in Hollywood, California. We're going to clown. Once again, I have an incredible show waiting for you guys. Cooties Need Love Too, exposing the STD dating underground. So, let me get to the show intro. No one ever said dating was easy. In fact, many people dread it. Having to disclose personal information about yourself to someone you desire yet barely know can be nerve-wracking. Will they still like me or want to see me again if I share my political views, the number of children I have, or that I'm financially challenged? For many on the dating scene, these fears seem like a walk in the park relative to tonight's topic. What if you had to tell your date or someone you've been seeing for a while that you have a long-term or fatal venereal disease? Take Sarah, who's 19 now. She was born HIV positive because of her mother's drug use. Or maybe Malik, who entered the dating scene after 15 years of marriage only to contract genital herpes from a dishonest girlfriend. Viruses and bacteria don't kill the intrinsic desire for human attraction, affection, and communion. We all want to love and be loved. But where do people who have an incurable STD go when they have that itch that needs to be scratched? Tonight's show is called Cooties Need Love Too, an exploration into the STD dating underworld. Now, quickly, I just want to introduce my peoples who are my guests tonight. Of course, you know him. He's always on the Foxxhole. He is one of the funniest motherfuckers in the world, and I think one of his famous characters is quite apropos for tonight's show. Mr. Rodney Perry. Ladies and gentlemen, Rodney Perry.
What up, Renard ZoWilliams?
I'm alive.
Thanks
man.
for having me, man. And I'm excited about this topic. I'm interested to learn, what's going on because I'm currently, STD free.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
stay that way.
As
bro.
best I know.
It's best you know.
Yeah, you never know. I did have a couple of back in the day.
Yeah. Well, what happened to Horatio? Is he still alive?
Well, he's around. You better shut your mouth. Show up. I'm clean. I don't know what you saying. I should be apropos for this.
Well, wait a minute. You said on Speedy's Comedy Corner that you was losing weight right now.
Well, that's what I said. That was a joke. Speedy's silly, and I'm silly with him sometimes.
Yeah, I bet.
He asked for me to say that. He asks that.
Rodney Perry's in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Foxxhole Radio, Voice of Reason, Sirius XM Satellite Channel 106 and 149. Again, the number to dial if you want to get involved. It needs to happen quickly. You can't wait long for my phone because it's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
877-210-6106 is the number to dial. And my next guest, she's been here before. She's intelligent. She's great. She's educated. She's fine.
She's fine.
Let's take a moment to ponder that. She's fine. She's here for a reason, and I always like to have her because she adds such great energy and intelligence to the show. It's Dr. Alex.
Hello.
Moran.
Thank you for having me back. I'm so happy to be here and to share some knowledge on this topic that is a little touchy today.
I know you can. It's touchy, and this is what we were talking about earlier. In our community, and like you said, in every community, talking about not only sex, but the diseases that come with unprotected sex is high taboo.
Very, very taboo.
And as a matter of fact, I was sending out feelers on Facebook. And you can hit me on Facebook right now. If you're in front of your computer.
Right now.
Reach out. Instant message me. Let me know what you want to talk about. But, dude, people were hitting me back. And not on the board. They were hitting me in the inbox.
Yeah.
You sure people going to answer you? You going to Twitter this? You being this forward, this direct?
Wow.
And in our community, and the reason why I say our community, African-American community, it seems like our community takes the brunt of every resurgent STD. Am I lying, Doc?
You are not lying.
It seems like, syphilis is back. Let's go to the hood and see how bad it is.
Wow.
As long as we south of Wilshire.
Let's check.
You understand?
Let's check over there. We know they got it first.
So I think it's very important that we cover that. So, question to my listening audience. Have you been having safe sex with your partner without telling them about your STD?
Wow.
See, a hush.
A hush. Well, and how do you tell the person? Baby, stayed outside the bathroom. I want to show you something. Stay out there.
Oh, no.
I've been really trying to tell you something, and you seem to be not getting it.
You're not here. You're not really hearing me. Do you hear me now? Can you hear me now? But this is the thing. And I think let me say this.
Okay.
The thing about relationships, even when we don't have STDs, a lot of times, in general, we're some poor communicators.
Pretty much. Yeah. I'm 13 years married. Now I ain't talking to my wife for 6 months.
You see what I'm saying? So just think when that kind of burden is on your shoulder.
Yeah.
And you got to, you know what level of integrity it takes? And I really commend Magic Johnson.
Yes.
The class that he exhibited when he came out.
Right.
And then, on top of that, Cookie.
Yes. To stay.
I'ma stay.
Well, did she do it? I mean, did she do a lot? I mean, she's well off.
Yeah.
I mean, she has children. You know, there's a lot of other extenuating factors. I'm sure she just didn't make the decision like, you know, she could have bounced though, still.
She could have left.
And she didn't. So I feel you.
Doc? You're a little hurt. It's all right. Nikki from Chi-Town, you're in the building. Holla, voice of reason. What do you think about tonight's topic? Cooties need love too. Nikki from Chi-Town.
You on the line, Nikki?
She's gone. Nikki's gone. Arlisa from Chi-Town. What's up?
Hello.
What's up, Arlisa?
How you doing?
I'm alive and well. You?
Fine, thanks. I'm calling. This is my first time calling in. I had some couple of comments about your topic for discussion tonight.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, sweetie.
Oh, about the how did you place it? Put it, Cooties, and how children or the adolescents of today are having sex and not telling the partner that they're may have a sexually transmitted disease.
Yes.
Well, I feel as though a lot of them, they may have been thrust into that position by their parents, being that their parents may have hit that, like HIV positive and pass it on to them. Mm-hmm. So as far as like them, they need more counseling,
mm-hmm.
more, how can I put it? They need more awareness that they need to tell people that. They're
mm-hmm.
not being told that, hey, I got this sexually transmitted disease, and they need to tell that person that they want to be involved with, that
right.
they actually have it. So I feel as though it's on the parents as well as the community who deal with patients or children who have the actual disease.
Now it's not just children, I don't think. So what about you? How is your vagina? Is it sick?
Excuse me?
Is your vagina sick?
No, it's not. It's very healthy.
Very healthy.
It's not coughing?
No,
Okay.
No, none of that.
Well, that's good, Arlisa. We really appreciate your valuable information and
Absolutely.
insight, because she did touch on
and
something.
kudos to the fact that her vagina is well, alive and well.
The vagina is
Operating
alive
properly.
and well. Thank you, Arlisa, for reaching out to the voice of reason. Kudos, not cooties. Now, again, tonight's topic, Cooties Need Love Too, exposing the STD dating underground. She touched on some things that was very, very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
We, like I said, people don't understand how pervasive relationship is. They'll think, okay, I'm looking for a relationship, and not knowing that they're already in one.
Wow.
An active relationship. For instance, your relationship with your children. We don't talk to our kids. We don't talk to our mates. You're right. We'll be with somebody
right.
and still have barriers and walls up, emotional, physical, mental, and emotional. And then when it's time to talk to the children, we got those same walls up,
wow.
and we don't really communicate. And we think their we don't even see it as a relationship. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, oh, that's my kid. That's my responsibility sometimes.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, not like we're in this together and we need to communicate and have a feedback back and forth.
Symbiotic movement back and forth. Again, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the voice of reason, ZoWilliams, Foxxhole Radio, XM, Sirius Satellite Radio, channels 106 and 149 respectively. That's Go See the Doctor in the background. We're about to take a quick break, but if you want to participate, the number to dial is 8772-106-106, and I'll be back in a minute. Holla. Woo! Jamie Foxx. He's telling us, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it.
Don't need it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the voice of reason, Sirius XM Satellite Radio, channel 106 and 149 respectively. Of course, you're in the Foxhole. I'm ZoWilliams. They know me as the voice of reason.
You are that.
I'm him, man. And tonight's topic, Cooties Need Love Too, an exploration into the STD dating underworld. If you have an STD, right?
Right.
And like doctors will say, you know, gynecologists or whatever, the moment they tell a person you've got an STD, you know, the person is shocked, there's doubt, there's fear, there's anxiety. It's like, and then there's also a feeling of loneliness. But when we start breaking down the stats, like what's happening. It's almost like a pandemic. But there's also support centers and places to go for support. And,
really?
And dating sites and everything. PositiveSingles.com.
Positive Singles. So that means they date two people that are very positive. They have a positive outlook on life?
No. They have an incurable STD, Rodney.
Get out of here.
Right. PositiveSingles.com. HDate.com.
HDate.
Right. The H is for herpes.
People names start with H. No. Harry and Henrietta.
No. Okay. Datepositive.net.
Date positive.
STDmatch.net.
STD match.
Yes. H works.
Because you don't want to mess around and end up with somebody with a different STD. Let's say you got herpes, she got chlamydia.
Y'all don't understand how crazy the Voice of Reason is. I sent my team into one of those sites.
No, they didn't.
They went in, they created a false profile, the whole 9.
You went undercover.
Man.
Deep.
Hey, this is what we do, man. This is rogue journalism.
These sites are amazing to me. Are there more? I could cut you off.
Dude, there's a big one in Atlanta called AtlantaHClub.com. Man, I mean,
wow. You know, serious. I did some research.
What'd you do?
I found some sites as well.
Right.
Titsfallinoff.org. MyBallsAreHot.net. You know, you might want to check that out.
Clickety clack.
SickVaginas.tv. You want to? ThatHurts.net. That's TSSS. That hurt. Ouchie.tv. Yeah.
Come on, Rodney. Come on. Show some sensitivity.
Hotbackdoor.net.
Hotbackdoor.
I don't know what you got to check these out. I don't know if they exist, but you know. You might want to just look into that.
I'm sorry, Doc. Do we have some stats?
We have a lot of stats.
Let's talk about the stats and how it's affecting our community, please.
3 million cases of chlamydia are reported every year. It is the most common STD that there is.
CottageCheese.net.
We would like to say STI. It's a more encompassing.
Infection.
Right. One of the things that bothers me the most, or that stands out the most, is that only 13% of the population, of the U.S. population, are black.
African American, yeah.
But 49% of the total HIV-infected population are black. I mean, that is a scary, scary statistic, isn't it?
It makes you think we're the target.
And that's a very scary statistic. And you're right. Sometimes I think they put herpes in the soda. Don't drink. No, I'm just.
That's why I'm drinking.
And this is why it's important that we cover this tonight, because April is STD month.
Awareness month.
Awareness month. Like, let's figure it out. Let's get out there and get tested.
In April you go out and get you one.
Yeah. The month is this is the month to avoid.
You really want to stay inside.
Right. Don't go outside. Keisha from DC. I hope you're in the building. Let me hear what you have to say about tonight's topic.
Hello.
Hey, Keisha. What's up?
How you doing? I mean, I commend the topic that you all are having tonight, but you're making fun of it. That's not funny. It's really not.
You're
Keisha,
right.
I apologize.
I agree with you, Keisha.
And then you start to laugh, and then my whole thing is, I hope you all don't have sex anymore, because there's nothing that you can stop from getting herpes. Using condoms, none of that matters.
That is accurate. Thank you, Keisha, for sharing that, because that's an important thing to talk about.
Let her finish. Say again, because she said something. There's nothing that could stop you from getting it?
No, it's not. I mean, just don't have sex, because condoms don't have anything to do with it.
Really?
No, they don't.
Doc?
You can get herpes as well as HPV from skin-to-skin contact. So, that's as well. You can pass herpes simplex 1, which is oral. You can pass that genitally as well. So, if you have a blister, if you're having an outbreak on your leg, in your inner thigh, anything like that would happen to rub against another person's skin,
right?
Then a condom clearly is not going to.
Well, that's like the other show that's like the other show that we had when we were talking about frontage, right? And that was the technical term for dry humping, dry rubbing, and they were saying you can even get an STD even if you're just dry humping because if the person is having an outbreak and their skin-to-skin contact, even during dry humping and where there's no penetration.
Well, the truth of the matter is, herpes, you have viral shedding. So that means at any given moment, a person that is infected with herpes could be shedding the virus from the site where they were infected. So that's not necessarily saying a person has to have an outbreak right now in order for you to get it. You could get it anytime. And the scary thing is that 60% of people infected have no idea and will absolutely never have an outbreak. So if a person comes to you and says, you know, if you come to the point where you are infected by your partner and they look at you and tell you, I mean, honestly, I had no idea, they could really, truly have no idea.
Wow. Right. And, really and let me address Keisha really quickly. I think she's gone, but we want to thank her for calling. Again, it's not about this show is not about making fun of, but at the same time, it's also bringing levity to a very serious situation. And a lot of times, we learn from a comedic angle more easily than we do from a serious angle.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is, we're still out there having unprotected sex.
Bottom line.
We're still out there not talking to each other, not communicating with each other. So the purpose of me doing the show and bringing it from this angle is to raise awareness, is to get people to saying, you know what, I'm pissed off about this, and I need to do something. I need to learn more about it. People don't like to learn until they crash. This show is about insight instead of hindsight. See, hindsight is, well, let me learn after I fail.
2020.
No, your grandmother gives you insight. Boy, put a jacket on before you go outside. Can't you see those clouds? Can't you smell the rain? That's insight. But a lot of times we don't pay attention to the insight in our life until something happens to us, and now it's about learning. 2020 is hindsight. Well, damn, I'll never do that again. So this show, we might be coming from a funny angle, but we're raising awareness, and it got you to call. And I hope you get some other people to call because you brought some good information. So, with that said, Gloria from Minnesota, you upset with me too. You gone? Okay, let's go to Mark from Baltimore. Let's go.
What's going on? How y'all doing?
What up, man? What's happening?
All right. Yeah, I agree with what you said. You know, you have to have insight, and however the message got to be put out there, it's definitely got to be put out there because you got a lot of people that's misinformed, that's uninformed, and uneducated about the whole situation. But as far as the website, you know, that you spoke of earlier and all the different sites, they need to, you know, people need to communicate and get together with their partner because it's better than putting it out there where they can affect other people that doesn't have anything, because in the world that we live in now, it's a lot of down low brothers and people communicating and everything like that, and they ruin other people's lives.
Have you ever been infected with a STD?
No, sir, I have not.
Never ever?
Never.
Nothing ever hurt? Nothing for no reason?
No, I mean, I'd get checked out. You know, I had a situation where I thought I was, you know, but all it was, you know, abrasion. You know what I'm saying? I went in a little bit too soon. You know what I'm saying?
I got
That's what it was, you know what I'm saying? Thank God. But
thank God for that.
I haven't been, you know, infected with anything or, you know, put in that situation because, you know, I mean.
You right, dog, man. Thank you so much for your call. You're amazing.
So, and I appreciate the call, Mark, for real. From Baltimore, you brought Baltimore into the building. This is a serious topic, but still, we're going to have fun, and we're not going to let nobody dictate and dominate how we do this damn show. So, in saying that, right, saying that, let's talk about some famous people with cooties.
Do we know that?
Yeah.
Break that down.
Shit. Famous people. Ludwig van Beethoven died from syphilis.
Get out of here.
And syphilis is on the rise.
You go blind from syphilis, am I right?
Syphilis is back on the rise. This is the same thing that killed Al Capone. And who else had syphilis that was famous? Hitler. What
are some of the Doc, what are some of the what do you get from what happens to you when you have syphilis?
Well, there's 3 stages of syphilis. So in the first stage, the primary phase, you would get cankers. So you would have sores.
Little lesions.
Right. Well, actually, lesions would be in the last stage. But the canker's the first indicator. You get them anywhere from 2 to 20 days after you've been infected.
Really?
And then you'll get that, and then it'll go away for a little bit, and then you'll get a rash all over your body, which is the secondary phase, and then that will go away, and then you could even have some years pass that before you get into the tertiary phase, which unfortunately only the first and second stages are curable.
You have some.
If you do not catch it prior to then you could become blind. You can have early onset of senile behaviors.
Senility. Wow.
Right.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. What if you are already blind?
Okay. Eazy-E died of AIDS. Rock Hudson died of AIDS. Magic Johnson, of course, he announced in 91,
HIV positive.
HIV positive.
Now that's different, am I right?
No, this is different. Anne Heche said she had genital herpes was given to her by her father when she was molested as a child. Wow. She disclosed this in her autobiography called Call Me Crazy. Greg Louganis, the Olympic swimmer, openly gay, HIV positive since 88. And then the allegedly category. I'm going to do the alleged category when we come back.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, Voice of Reason, Sirius Satellite Radio, XM Satellite Radio, Channel 106 and 149.
Yeah.
Listen, don't be afraid. Call us. We'll be back in a minute. Peace. The online community. Digital girl. I'm saying underground. Digital underground. That's Jamie Foxx, ladies and gentlemen. Digital girl, him with Kanye West. Tonight's topic, Cooties Need Love Too, exposing the STD dating underground. There are resources out there, websites for them to go, and people who are afflicted with incurable STDs. There's so many websites. But what I was saying before I went to break was there is rumors spiraling all over the place about people who allegedly have the cooties, right? And that's my list says rapper Big Country. I don't even know who the hell Big Country is. It says he has chlamydia. And this is allegedly.
Can guys get chlamydia?
Yeah. Yeah, Doc. Come on, Doc.
Absolutely, men can get chlamydia.
How do it manifest itself?
Chlamydia is a very watery discharge, painful urination, the burning sensation when you pee.
Is that's like gonorrhea though, right?
That is
But wait, also
another bacterial infection.
Okay.
But wait, also they say rapper Jay-Z has herpes.
Get out of here.
Rumored to have given it to Rihanna. And now they're saying
the reason Rihanna got stole.
But I know it's like this is all allegedly. Right?
It's all alleged.
What about comedian Robin Williams?
I heard he got something.
David Hasselhoff.
What Robin Williams got? You gonna leave me hanging?
The old H-bomb. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
The hell?
No, not that. Stop. Not that. The baggage. The Samsonite.
Oh. Okay.
You can't get rid of it.
We don't know. We don't know these things are true, so we'll stop right here.
We don't
know. We don't know. I don't want to know.
You don't?
I want to know.
You sure?
Let me tell you something. If I get something, I'm giving it to everybody.
Why?
Because that's the type of dude. That's the type of dude I am.
That's the type of dude you are.
That's what it is.
But the doc pointed out something that was really, really, that I thought was important. Tell me about how you said, we treat certain diseases and certain illnesses differently, but when in effect, it's still on the same tier, maybe?
Right. Well, when we study anything cross-culturally, across all cultures, the number one thing that society can control is our sexuality, right? Mm-hmm. So who is dictating to us that catching chlamydia or syphilis, or gonorrhea, curable STDs, is so much more disgusting than getting a cold from your best friend, or getting strep throat from your boyfriend,
or mono.
Something that puts you out of the game for months at a time, rapid weight loss. All of this is fine. Nobody looks at, oh my God, that person's tainted. Please don't be around me. But if a person gets chlamydia, now all of a sudden they have the scarlet letter, get away. That's disgusting. But it's treated in the exact same manner by a course of antibiotics.
Right.
So who is dictating to us? It's just another way of saying sex is bad, sex is dirty, sex is gross. Don't do it because this can happen.
Now, is that true though? I mean, so what you're saying, you're equating those sexually transmitted diseases with the common cold. Is that fair?
But tell me, what is different though? What is different? So when you go and have to get
I can look at you and see your snotty nose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can't look
at
you.
See it.
You should be. The difference is that it's like a person that has a sexually transmitted disease. If they don't tell you, you don't know.
So
it's not the same as catching a cold.
So as soon as your wife's throat starts itching a little bit, she can be like,
she gotta go.
Get out. Don't kiss me anymore. She's not gonna bring it up.
She's the outbreak monkey.
Itching.
But that goes. But see, she's the outbreak monkey.
She's trying to scratch.
But see, that goes back to the point. That goes back to the point of the question we initially asked, which was sexual espionage. Going into a relationship, not being honest, not revealing what your sexual history is,
right,
not revealing what you may currently be carrying. These are issues. I mean, and like I said, we're just talking about sexually transmitted diseases right now. These are things, these are behaviors that are normal for relationships.
Right.
In the general
lack of
sense.
communication.
Lack of communication, lack of being forthright or open.
One thing that's interesting, though, is if you were to go right now to any clinic and go get tested, if you just say, I want a STD test, period. They're going to run for chlamydia, gonorrhea. They'll do an HIV test if you request it.
Wow.
But the chlamydia, gonorrhea, those are the typical ones that they're testing for. So, herpes, HPV, you will never get tested for that unless they're specifically testing your blood for these things. Because unless there is an outbreak at the moment, they would never test for it.
Wow.
They would never think to test for it unless you ask them specifically to test for it.
Wow. Arthur Ashe also died of AIDS, but it wasn't from illicit sex or anything like that. It was from a blood transfusion. Samantha from California, you're in the Foxxhole, voice of reason. Let's hear what you have to say pertaining to the topic. Holla.
Hello. I just wanted to say that just because you have an STD doesn't make it the worst thing on the planet.
Speak on it. Talk to us.
I got it 8 years ago. I got herpes 8 years ago. I met my boyfriend 5 years ago on H-date, and it wasn't that bad. Yeah, I was devastated in the beginning. I crawled up in a ball. I lost my swagger. I went and got it back.
There you go.
Now tell us about H-date. How productive was that for you, that site?
Super productive. It was a lot easier than having to come out and tell the truth about some crazy stuff. And when you do that on a date, they're like, what?
And then you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about people judging you or condescending to you or maybe pushing you in a box, putting you in a little box, maybe treating you like something's wrong with you. That's a community where you're openly welcomed and you can move and move freely without worry, fear of reprisal. Correct?
Right, and it's comfortable. You're not sitting there stressed out. Because it's very hard to tell someone.
I got one more question for Rodney Perry. Now you're on H-date. You're on the site. Now tell me if I'm right here, Doc. There are different degrees of herpes, right?
No.
It's different levels. So once you got herpes, you got herpes.
Absolutely.
Okay. See, because there are different simplexes, though, right? So is there a simplex
herpes
room?
simplex 1
is different than herpes simplex 12.
That's the cold sore. The cold sore, right?
Well, you can have herpes simplex 1.
Samantha, stay on. Don't leave.
Well.
Don't leave. Stay
on.
So
you could have herpes simplex 1 if somebody performed oral sex. Then you would then have herpes simplex 1 genitally. So you can't have both genitally.
My question would be, do they compartmentalize the site based on simplex?
And here you go. All right. So
I think that's a fair question.
Yeah,
what do you say?
Okay.
I'm an asshole.
Well, that's the way you said it, though. Compartmentalize duty. Okay, no, we good.
That's a question.
But Samantha, let me ask you this too.
They have herpes. They have HPV on there. You can pick your poison to say.
Okay, but it's not broken down by types of herpes, though, because that would be almost impossible.
I mean, it was 5 years
but that's what
ago
Rodney
when
said.
I did it. It was free, so.
But let me ask you this, Samantha. This is Zoe. Do you have people on the site that approach you with, say, a different sexually transmitted disease than you have, but maybe,
yes,
come at you and say, why not we get together? And how does that work? Could you share that with us?
Yeah, I went on a date with a guy with HPV, and I was just like, there's just too much cross-contamination. I'm just trying to keep it simple.
Right.
So in theory, you discriminated against him.
No.
Only because why mix the pot? There's already ham hocks and collard greens in there. I don't need to throw some chitlins in there too. I'm good.
Boy, both of y'all got the pot of chitlins. I don't know if you realize that.
One thing that's important to note, though, is that you could actually, if you have herpes simplex 2 and the person you're dating has herpes simplex 1, you guys can actually trade strands.
Really?
So that's important to know that it's not necessarily the same.
Samantha, let me say this. I commend you for having the courage to reach out to us and share your story, because you validated the purpose of this show. You saw through the silliness and the funniness, and you actually connected with what we're trying to convey. And I appreciate you for calling. And we're here every week, Thursday, Voice of Reason, Foxxhole Radio, Sirius XM Satellite Channel 106 and 149. You're definitely welcomed anytime. So let me move on really quick. Chris from Memphis, chime in, brother.
I was going to say something to what Dr. Alex was saying about the difference. If a person has a STD, it'll make you think a little bit differently than just a common cold or anything else, because of the simple fact it makes you become wiser of who you decide to sleep with. Because it happened to me twice. I didn't find out till the tail end. Of course, I ran and got a test, but they told me on the tail end, and it made me become very, very selective of who I'm with. It made me start asking more questions.
So you got an STD?
No, sir.
Okay.
I think I'll jail by now.
Where is the tail end if you didn't get it?
Well, you find out on the tail end. Well, I have herpes.
Where is the tail end? Like if like you said, they told you on the tail end. Had you had sex?
Oh.
Like you weren't in the end zone, you were on the 2-yard line. Where's the tail end of it?
These two people that I'm talking about, that we've actually had sex plenty of times, and it's maybe like a year or so afterwards they came out and told me.
Really? So y'all was obviously having protected sex.
No.
You could have sex and not get it. Absolutely.
Really?
When was the last time you were tested, Chris?
About a year ago, before I got married.
Okay. Doc?
Yeah, Doc, break that down. How does that work, Doc? Because I didn't understand.
But I do understand monogamous relationships or abstinence is the best way to keep your little movement.
But it's not even necessarily, because unless you both have sex with one person, protected sex, only having sex with each other only ever is the only way to guarantee that.
Only ever.
Only ever. Only you two, because if you've slept with
made for each other.
This person beforehand, now you are infected but you're showing no symptoms and you have no idea. 2 years later, all of a sudden you have an outbreak. You might have had that 2 years before and just had no idea. But you don't even necessarily have to pass it to the other person, because viruses can shed at any time, but they can also not shed. You could also not have an outbreak. You could also just not pass it.
Very interesting.
877-210-610 is the number to dial. Again, Cootie Love. Cooties Need Love Too. An exploration into the STD dating underground. It's all over the internet. It's everywhere. We just wanted to bring it to the forefront so people could talk about it. We're about to take a quick break. I encourage you to reach out. 877-210-610 is the number to dial. The show is picking up more steam. Holla at us. We'll be back in a minute. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason back in the building. Tonight's topic, Cooties Need Love Too. We're exploring. It's an exploration of the STD dating underground.
That's right.
877-210-610 is the number to dial. Again, all of our facts on the alleged people with cooties, famous people with cooties. Of course, it's all alleged. We have no confirmation on the actual fact of that.
Matter of fact, strike that from the record.
Is this Judge Joe Brown? Judge No Brown.
No Brown.
Right. Anyway, that's all alleged. That's why we call that section alleged. However, there are some books you could go get in Zoe's bookshelf. Damaged Goods. Women Living with Incurable Sexually Transmitted Diseases by Adina Nack is a book you should go out and check. I have a whole lot of books, but I'm not going to read them all. I just want you guys to understand that this show is about having the conversation and starting the conversation and staying with the conversation. Like, for instance, what's very important to me is the difference between an STD and an STI.
It's not actually a difference.
Right.
We've started using that term, sexually transmitted infections, because a person could be infected, or they might, or they will be able to infect a person, although they aren't necessarily exhibiting any symptoms of the disease.
Right. But I hear from our little corny research, I hear that the STI and the STD have a subtle difference in the sense that the STD has a more of a negative connotation to it, whereas the STI is something that is not as serious in some cases, except with the exception of, say, the infection of HIV. So like the other things that you say that can be cured with a pill,
right?
You know, gonorrhea, get a shot. That I just had an STI and it's cleared up.
That's right.
As opposed to an STD, you know, things that are more permanent.
Well, the medical community just started using the term infection.
Brand new.
I thought it had something to do with TI.
It's not necessarily, there's not really a difference in the terms. It's just more all-encompassing, if you will.
Okay, Steve from Ohio.
This might be my last day.
You're in the Voice of Reason. Chime, brother.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys talking about this information. There's a couple of groups that I want to talk about that we haven't covered, which is the kids 13 to 24, which is the largest number coming up HIV positive and STDs, and HIV and STDs over 50, which people are not talking about.
Go with it.
You know, that I've been doing this education for years, for many, many years, and actually coming up and doing my research. And actually, I'm doing something on stigma and how it really relates to our STDs and HIVs and why we do not conversate with each other. There's actually a play that we have put out, how it talks about people and their history and wanting to discuss this. But because we're scared and fear and all those things that come with it, we fail to do this.
Man, come on. You got something else in your gun? Your gun's not jamming right now. Keep shooting. What else you got? What else you got? Because this is good advice. This is good information. What else you got? Shoot.
Well, see, the thing about especially HIV over 50, it is very important to understand that there are more women that tend to live longer, and that means there's a shortage of men. So what tends to happen, you may end up having the good deacon who's part of the church saying, okay, I'll be glad to go over and give communion to Sister So-and-so, and then, you know, he's in a very attractive and a widower, so he's going there. He may be going to the nursing home. Now you have this STD that has been spread all through the community, and, you know, it doesn't help because,
now let me ask you this.
Yo, Brother Steve, I so appreciate you. We're coming down to the wire. I got to move to the next caller, but, man, you dropped a haymaker on the listeners of the Voice of Reason. I appreciate you. We're here every Thursday. Get back at us next week. We still going to be here. We're going to be having a great time. Terrence from South Carolina, you're in the building. Holla, man.
What's going on, Mr. Williams?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I just had, you know, a comment. You know, I'm 22 years old, and I'm an African-American male, and I'm scared. I've only had sex one time in my life, and, you know, and it was okay. But, my sister, she got an STD, and it just shut me down. I mean, I didn't want to have sex ever again, and I still have it for a while, you know, and I became an over-the-road truck driver, and you got these lot lizards and crap out here and stuff.
Yeah,
I just shut down completely after my sister got it because I never thought, you know, it would happen so close to home, you know, and I'm just wondering how do you get over something like
Terrence,
that?
Have you been tested since your first sexual escapade?
Yes, sir. I sure was.
Very good. Doc?
So, what was it? A curable STD that she got?
Yes, she had it's called a trichomoniasis.
Okay, and the funniest thing is that's one of the most. I mean, that's equatable to a yeast infection, which, you know, we can get yeast infections from wearing the wrong kind of underwear, wearing a swimsuit for too long. So, I mean, that one, especially that one, as well as bacterial vaginitis, other types of infections.
Is his fear fair? That's the question.
But it's not. It's a fear that's not necessarily warranted.
Here's the thing, Terrence. The thing that eradicates fear is knowledge. If you go out and do some research about safe sex, about the type of diseases that are out there, about the type of infection that your sister had, you will gain a deeper and broader understanding of what you're dealing with. But don't allow fear to prevent you from living.
Right.
You know, get out there and do your research first. If you have questions, go get the answers, because now with the advent of the internet, there's no excuse for being uninformed. Right. Steve, I appreciate you for reaching out. Terrence, I appreciate you for reaching out. Thank you, brother. Voice of Reason. We got to wrap it up. Like I said in the beginning, it's about the conversation. Do not let this conversation end. Continue to pass on the information. Yeah, it started out funny. People got a little sensitive with us tonight, but that was on purpose. Now go out and get the information. Go out and spread the information. Go out and teach people.
You can email me at info@dralex, the number 4, the letter U, .com. If you have any questions, please feel free.
What's your MySpace page?
It is myspace.com/Dr. Alex, the number 4, the letter U, the number 2.
Rodney Perry?
Rodney Perry. I'm on MySpace. I got my website, rodneyperry.com. I'm no source of solid information. So
don't ask me nothing.
Don't ask me. I can't help you. I'm clean, I think. But I'm about to go get something checked it right now.
All right. So here's the final thought. With tonight's show, we sought to shed light on the increasing number of people who are living with an incurable STD, as well as the online support and dating communities that seem to be spreading at the same accelerated rate. Oftentimes, people who are diagnosed with an STD have an overwhelming sense of anxiety, coupled with the isolating sense of loneliness. But according to the current numbers from the CDC, which reports that 1 out of every 4 women have herpes, these numbers are slightly less for men, and 50% of anybody who is sexually active while engaging in unprotected sex will at some point in their lives come in contact with the HPV virus, which is the virus that causes genital warts as well as cervical cancer. The numbers alone prove that those of you who have an incurable STD are not alone. Conversely, the numbers show just the opposite. As with any meaningful relationship, its foundation should be based on the fact that one can be authentic and true, fluency of communication, along with the acceptance of oneself and others. Without these principles, one is simply living a lie, whether they have an STD or not. With that said, when entering into a relationship with anybody who has an incurably sexually transmitted disease, these simple principles should be openly enforced. Ask. Just ask. Ask, and ye shall receive. Seek, and ye shall find. Ask, but verify. Don't be afraid to have a conversation with your partner about their sexual past or present. Let's just, be open about it. Tip number 2. Get tested once every 6 months and encourage your partner or partners to do the same, right? Don't be afraid to have the conversation, right? Don't be afraid to have a doctor's appointment with them. Let's go do it together. Tip number 3, practice safe sex every time you have sex. Tip number 4, avoid unprotected sex with multiple partners and also the use of illegal drugs. I'm ZoWilliams, the voice of reason, and that's my final thought. Ladies and gentlemen, Voice of Reason, Sirius Satellite Radio, XM Satellite Radio, channel 106 and 149, respectively. You've been listening to the Voice of Reason Thursday nights. We'll be back next week. Enjoy the show. Continue the conversation. And I'm out. Peace.